So first off, I just want to say, thank you for taking your time to, drive out here to this, amazing bar at the Blue Moon. Thank you to Blue Moon. Right now I have Lorena sitting with me, who is a dance music enthusiast. Dance music movement enthusiast.
No music.
Well, no music. But no, I will say what enticed me about, you reaching out and, asking more information was that you're very consistent with the content you're sharing. And it was movement, it was a lot of like high energy stuff. And I could just feel the positive vibes in the videos that you're sharing. So I was like, this would be cool. Like, wonder what, she's like, and to hear more about what business she's doing, because everyone that has stepped into your studio just always feels like they're in this positive mindset.
Yeah. Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. So if you can, when did this start? Give us like a time frame of when you started to really fall in love with dance and how that kind of turned into a passion for you.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, thank you, first of all, for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But yeah, pretty much my whole life. I mean, as far back as I can remember, music and dance was just a way for me to express myself, create joy, and just have fun.
Yeah.
Right. So I come from a very positive, upbeat family. So those vibes were always around me. And so it was just easy for me to find what fueled that for me.
Yeah.
And
No, that's
what
really
that
cool.
was. Yeah.
And I feel like, parents set the tone, you know what I'm saying? Like if they, you're loved at a young age, you're going to, be able to feel love and to, give some patience and virtue off of other people. So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I come from a middle-class Hispanic family from Tortugas, New Mexico.
Oh, shoot,
Whoop. I'm trying to, I need to throw up the turtle.
Oh no. Okay. I didn't even know you could throw it. That's what you guys throw up. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I'm really not sure that it is.
Oh,
but
wow. You made it up.
Yeah.
Someone's going to trademark that.
Yes.
So you better take it.
Yeah. Me and some of the Tortugueños my age, like we know about it, but,
Wow.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I'm the baby of 4.
Okay.
So, and everybody's a sport, they were all
Wow,
into sports. Yeah. And I was like, I did it because I was going to do that or nothing else.
Okay.
And so I did play softball and I did enjoy it, but it just wasn't like what fueled me. So
Didn't have that spark.
no.
Yeah.
And so, and I didn't feel confident either with it.
Okay.
And so what I would do, but I wanted to dance and I wanted to learn. So what I would do is I set up the tripod and it was like the full VHS recorder.
Huge.
Yes. Right. And then the big screens, like the full box, not like there was no such thing. Right. And VCRs. And so what I did is I set up the tripod, I zoomed in the recorder onto just the screen, and then I would record MTV when MTV used to only play music videos.
Yeah.
And then I would play back the videos and I would pop it into the VCR and I'd be able to fast forward and rewind to learn the choreography.
Yeah.
And so that's how I first started teaching or learning dance, I guess. And then after that, I just got on teams when I could. The very first team I ever got on was at Gym Magic. It was actually cheer, but I was like, whatever. They dance a little bit. Like,
I remember
let's
passing
do it.
by Gym Magic sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool. I wonder what that is.
Yeah, so it was like a cheer squad.
Uh-huh.
And so I did that. And then after that, I was a cheerleader for Zia Middle School. And then in high school, so music, you did mention music. Music has been a thing for me. I was in orchestra and I played the violin.
Awesome.
And I wanted to continue to play the violin and dance and do all the things in high school, but I had to choose.
Okay.
So when I got to high school, I chose dance and I did that. And then at NMSU, I danced as well. And ever since I was like 14 years old, I was the main choreographer of all the teams I was ever on.
What made you decide to get a video camera at that age and just start recording? Did you see that somewhere, or was that just like an idea that just popped out of nowhere?
Honestly, it was just an idea that popped out of nowhere. Yeah, because think about it. That was so long ago.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think like how many people were, after you were a creator at the age before people were creating stuff.
Right?
So I'm like, where would you even find influence in that? So, I mean, that's cool. That's something to lead with for sure when you're telling people your story. So.
Yeah, most definitely. I thought the same thing. I was like, I created YouTube. No.
In a sense, right? It's like for you to pick up a camera like that, that's the last thing I would have thought. I would have saw a big, camera recorder like, oh, this is way too, complicated. I don't know what's going on. So that's really cool that you're able to do that.
I can remember it like clear as day, like the first time I ever did it. Yeah. And it was just a way for me to be able to, I would watch music videos all the time.
Yeah.
But I couldn't like pause it, rewind, fast forward, or whatever. So yeah, I'm just like, okay, well, if I do this, I can do that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Make sure it's.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh,
there you go.
Dang it.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I think that's so cool in terms of you started that, and you know how people go through like their phases of like, oh, I'm in middle school, I like skateboarding. You know, I was really big into skateboarding, and I would dress like a skateboarder, and then that phase kind of like ran off. But this is who you are now.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
you knew from the start of young ages that you were going to be doing this, and how do you feel? Like, do you ever question it? Is it something that you kind of get burnt out at any time, or?
No, surprisingly. So I'm heading into my second year now, and no, I have not got burnt out at all. And I think it's because it's just so much bigger than dance, right?
Yeah.
It's mindset, mind-body connection, like releasing negative thoughts, feelings, gaining confidence, getting in touch with yourself. And I feel like whenever you get in touch with yourself, you automatically get in touch with God, right?
Yeah.
So just creating that connection and living. At the end of the day, it's like our everyday life is full of so much responsibility.
It takes a big toll on your body, like you talk about.
Yeah, like our day is filled with responsibility. Boom, 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 all day, right? And it's like, when are we living?
Yeah.
And so even if you can just come to my class for an hour and like live in that moment.
Yeah.
Or coming to my class every now and then encourages you to tap into yourself throughout the day, at home, at work, or whatever, and live in that moment with yourself, creating joy, even if it's just for 5 minutes, you know? So, really, honestly, I feel like that's why I haven't gotten burnt out, is because it's just like, it's so much more.
Yeah. So what do people usually say about your classes that when you talk to them? What's like the common theme of people that maybe try your class out for the first time?
So the common theme when they're done is like, oh my goodness, that was such a great release. I've created so much joy. I'm so happy. Like I feel so good about myself. People that come regularly, that's what they've said the most, is that they've gained so much more confidence. They've also like they just feel more alive, right? Like they feel more confident, more alive. What else? People come to me because I also do one-on-one sessions, which I've actually been doing so many.
Well, I would think that would be huge, because if I'm someone who maybe doesn't know how to dance the best, or I'm afraid of judgment, I would love to just be one-on-one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've been doing so many more one-on-ones, which I love because in the process, we're able to also get into like some of that mindset work, which I do want to explore, you know, becoming more of a professional in that way. I'm not right now, but I can help. I can just ask questions, you know, to help them lead to wherever they need to go, to that thought that's holding them back. Right. So when they come to me for one-on-ones, it's always because they're like, I want to loosen up. Like my life is so rigid, and I want to like feel free.
Yeah.
Some women have come to me after big breakups, and they're like, I just want to feel like myself again.
Okay.
What else? Like,
It's like therapeutic.
It's absolutely therapeutic. Absolutely.
So I can see why, you know, maybe, and that's a question that I was going to ask you a little bit later down the podcast, but tapping into the mind would be really cool to kind of tie into what you're doing with your movement and the body, just due to the fact of people are coming to you after breakups. That's huge. You know, that's kind of like a good feeling, and maybe, you know, some props to you, because I feel like that's a time for people to be alone and to be vulnerable and go out of your way to do something that maybe you feel uncomfortable is a win.
Yes.
You know? So.
Yes. And that's another thing. People come to me because they want to get out of their comfort zone.
Okay.
That's been a big one too. Yeah. And I think overall they just want to like live in the moment, right? Try some and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And to even dive a little bit deeper on it, just explain to us your mission. You know, I know you and I have talked about it, but explain to the people what your mission is and what you try to accomplish on a daily basis. Okay.
So, my mission with Lo Flo is exactly that. It's like a lifestyle, in my opinion. It's, a way for you. It's just another form of movement, for you to create that connection with yourself, release negativity, create joy, happiness, confidence, and just create a better quality of life, right?
Yeah.
I feel like anytime I do, like, whenever I have class, I feel like on top of the world, right? And it has nothing to do with the fact that I have class. It's literally just because I was in a space with like-minded people creating and sharing this incredible energy for an hour, you know? And you get out of class and you like want to take on the world. It's like literally like nothing can hold you back. And there's many ways to create that.
Yeah.
That feeling, but this is just what comes natural to me, and
What's
I
your
know I'm
strong
not
suit?
alone. Yes.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not alone in this, and so I just want to create that space for as many people as possible.
Well, and you're providing a platform to do it. And I think it's great. You know, going to the gym is probably the most common used in terms of feeling better about yourself and trying to do better. But I do feel like some people that's not the right audience for everyone. You know, there are other ways to, you know, venture out and do stuff. And I think with how well you tie in your marketing to what you actually do helped push those people to make a decision and like, oh, I feel like I know her. You know, it was almost like watching your content or like seeing you, you know, share so consistently. Like, I feel like I already knew you, and that feels good. You know, that makes it easier to be like, hey, well, what are the chances that we can meet up? So
yeah, I love that, and it's true because I meet so many people in person for the first time in my class, and I feel the same way about them because I engage. You know, like I love to see what they're doing, what they're going through, what they're building, because there's lots of people building different types of businesses. And so I love to support just as much. And I love that, though. I love that you felt that way.
Yeah.
That's like the whole point.
It was cool. And you have to have a sense of like personable likeliness on social media. Like you can be yourself, but at some sort, it's like, it's not enough to just, you know, have a personality. You have the right personality. And I feel like when you want to start your business, you almost have to be a little bit more about the people rather than about yourself. And I think you have a good balance of what your content looks like on that. And you use heavy testimonials of what people say about you, or you just see the audience and the people in the back and they're just sweating and smiling and laughing. And you just know that you put them through a good workout.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of workout, I know you mentioned the gym earlier. I do that as well. So I like to lift heavy too, you know? And
like,
I think it's
like
a
what sorts of
team.
lifts? Like, is there specific lifts you like to do? Or
I love legs.
Okay.
Although I have been going harder into my upper body just because why not?
You get bored. I feel like sometimes you get bored with just hitting the same thing over and again.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is I feel like wellness is like a team of people and activities.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm kind of on a wellness journey myself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I've found that between Lo Flo, the gym, my therapist, and I have an energetic therapist as well.
What's that like?
Oh my gosh.
What is that like?
To sum it up, shout out to John Lynn. To sum it up, it's literally a meditative session between me and God. And John Lynn is like the facilitator.
Okay.
So
that's interesting. I've never heard of that before.
It's wild. I don't know if we're getting off topic here.
No, you're fine. I asked the question. So yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So she's intuitive.
Okay.
And we'll talk a little bit before the session and then she'll be like, yeah, let's like meditate on this.
Okay.
She'll pick a topic. We'll get into a meditative state. Then she'll start like receiving downloads, right? And she'll almost every single time like hit the nail on the head. She'll say a word and I will have a a body reaction to it.
Wow.
Whether it's like in my solar plexus or whatever. Yeah. Sometimes I'll just start crying. Sometimes like it's crazy. And that's just all energy. You gotta walk out like
so refreshed, right?
Same. Yes.
You gotta walk out because I know like going to church and you hear a sermon or you hear a reading and you just feel like it applies to your life and you're just like that tear sheds and you're just like, but you feel so good after.
Yes.
So I can understand that, but that's really cool that there's a type of work for it.
I don't want to butcher anything, but she did give me the information on her modality and everything like that, but I kind of just jumped into that head first.
Yeah.
She reached out to me for my class for therapeutic reasons as
right.
well. And she came for her own therapeutic reasons, and we connected that way. And then she told me what she did. And I was at a point where I was like, I know I'm not going to get to any level. Like, I'm not going to get to the next level of anything in my life until I handle what's going on.
Yeah.
You know? And so I just jumped in like head first, and it has been so amazing. And like I said, it's a team. Like, it's a team of people and activities to really get you to where you need to be.
Well, you gotta, as much as, and I'll put myself in the shoes of, I'm very like, I like fashion, I like sneakers, I like investing a lot of money into like sports, wellness, golf, but that's just one small part. Like, to be, happy, truly happy, you got to invest into your soul, your mind, and, the 3 or 4 different things you're doing for yourself. Like, that's all accumulating into your one. And I do feel like that's something important to talk about, because it's not just about going to the gym. You can get hurt at the gym. If you're not doing something properly, you can get hurt. And there's not really that stigma of getting hurt. It's going to the gym to get healthier. But getting healthier is, mentally as much as physically, or, trying out something new, getting better in something else, being a little bit more creative. So all of it applies. And thank you for sharing that information, because I really feel like it's valuable.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, for sure.
So we to jump back onto your business and where you're at with things. What are some challenges that you're facing right now, and how has that humanized your brand a little bit to be able to attack those?
So if I'm being really honest, I'm struggling. You asked what I struggle with, what I'm struggling
Some
with. Some
challenges, yeah.
Challenges, yeah. Okay. Class, like increasing class size, which really, I guess part of the reason why it doesn't really bother me that much is because there could be one person. Like, I don't care. Like, it's gonna be the same class.
Yeah.
It's gonna have the same outcome. It's gonna be amazing, right? But obviously, like, I pay rent. Like, if we're looking from a business standpoint, like, I need to be making money, right? So I would say one of my biggest challenges from a business standpoint is getting out there more, more people knowing about me, understanding what we're doing.
It's needed.
Yeah. And so I would say marketing, which people are like, you're crazy. Your IG is crazy. And I'm like,
it's a small piece.
Yeah.
Small piece of the cake.
Yeah. And so I really haven't gotten discouraged, because if I'm being honest again, I haven't done what it takes.
Yeah.
I've literally just done reels. Like, that's it. And I've never even paid for one. Like, I've never even gotten one sponsored. You know what I mean? So I would say that I just need to I don't have a business background. I am very much a creative. and a people person. Like, all the other technical stuff, like, is not my forte. But at some point, I really just need to like buckle down and figure out what it is I need to do to make sure that everybody knows about what's happening. And if they want to come, they want to come. But more importantly, that's my biggest challenge, is getting myself out there more.
Yeah. And I think it's great now that we're and I just got done, maybe touching on this a little bit, but I think it's great where we're at with society of everyone wants to start their own business. I think it's huge. I think there's a lot of benefits in it. I think there's a lot of growth, and takes you out of your comfort zone to put your passion into something other than what you like, on your hobby side.
Yeah.
But I will say the people that do it, including myself and you, we only do it good in one area. Like, there's other areas that we can be better at.
Yes.
And it may come with some knowledge, education, or investment of money.
Yes.
But it's
or
challenging.
All of that.
Yeah, it's challenging being a business owner, an entrepreneur, because there's not, with a firm or a corporate, you can venture out, you have money coming into you. With us, it's like, it's our money, it's the money we make on our business, and majority of the time it's our money. So we got to find a balance. But
and let's not forget to mention, we also have traditional careers.
Yeah.
On the side.
You have to.
Yeah.
Like, you really do. I mean, I give props to anyone that is able to go full time into whatever it is their hustle is. And I'm like, dude, good for you. Like, one day I'm going to be there, but I'm just glad that there's hope, and good for you.
And along those lines, do you ever find yourself like comparing yourself to others, and they have like 6 years deep that you didn't even know about?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I have to remind myself
it's
that too.
It's social media, and I've had to really dive and buckle down on what I'm focusing my attention on. I'd really do my best to stay off of Instagram as much as possible and really monitor my time on TikTok, because all I see is creators and them flying out places, them doing what they love, them having all their equipment, their marketing's done, it looks good. And I'm like, it's not that I'm like, oh, I want to be there. It's like all internal. It's like, oh, I need to be there.
Yes,
you know, like you internalize it. So either way, it's bad on both sides, but it's a challenge. I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But don't you feel like that's an opportunity for you to maybe, get better in some areas?
Oh, absolutely. I was just thinking about it on the way over here, because, which I'm sure we'll get into, my like greater vision, right?
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I hop over some basics, right? And already kind of like, okay, well, I need to do this and this and this for the greater vision.
Yeah.
And literally on my drive over here, I'm like, no, you need to get your marketing on point, because if you don't have that, what does the greater vision matter? Like, get this step
It's
first.
good questions to have. And, it's stuff to like write down, and like, I'm sure you do, and really write out a plan of like what's important to you. You are really good at this. Can you give up, some time for this to make things a little, maybe you're posting 6 times to 8 times a week. Can that go down to 4? And maybe you get more engagement because people are looking forward to seeing you that next week. And like, oh, I'm looking forward to Tuesday because I know Lorena's going to post this reel or whatever it is. But yeah, it's tough, man. Like, you really have to have the mindset and like a dog mentality to be able to be like, I'm going to wake up and do this again. Like, even though it didn't turn out good yesterday, I'm going to wake up and do it again.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. And I've had those moments where I've shown up and nobody shows up to class, and I'm like, all right,
Content time.
Yeah, let's go. Let's film and practice. Yeah.
Now, talking about your greater vision, where do you see yourself? Like, where is a place that you would be and you would feel like, oh, I can take a step back for a second and be like, oh, I made it.
I believe I would feel that way if once I executed, all of the systems to do what it is that I'm trying to do, which is just reach as many people as possible and give them this opportunity, present them with this opportunity of life, really, is like how I like to view it. I think I've envisioned like a full blown, like global website type, program or digital program. Globally, I envision myself being flown out all over the world to have in-person sessions. I envision retreats. I envision conventions. Like, in my mind, Lo Flo is literally a modality of healing.
Yeah. No, that's great. That sounds really cool. I feel like you can get there. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes I feel like we want things that are unreachable, but I think as there's a planning involved in it, which I'm sure there is. Everyone that's very, that's doing the things that they need to do has some type of plan. But I do feel like it comes down to just giving yourself grace. It's really challenging to give people grace sometimes, and in this case myself, because we don't see the numbers qualify all the way. But it's always that one person that's just like, oh man, like I felt good, I felt rejuvenated, and I feel like that is worth $1 million.
Yes, absolutely.
So even just like having people come on my podcast and just be like, dude, that was amazing. Like, I enjoyed it. It's held me accountable. I'm doing things, I'm trying new things out, and it was kind of like what I need to focus on. Now we're in, September, what I need to focus on the next 3 months for 2024.
Yes.
So that makes me feel good. I'm like, aside from money, dude, thank you. Like, I needed that, so I'm gonna keep going.
Exactly. Yeah. The money is a byproduct, and again, business, like, you invest for a return, right? Like, that's the plan. But at the end of the day, it's like what we're creating in people, for people, with people. That's what pays more than anything, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, coming from a small community like Tortugas, and now being in Las Cruces, what is your opinion on Las Cruces community and how that's maybe helped out with your business and where you're at with things?
I would say that they're very like welcoming, right? Especially I don't know if I can. Does this get edited?
Does this get edited?
Yeah.
What are you about to botch right now? Just say it. We'll be good.
Especially women. I feel like we build each other up and we cheer each other on so much. And yeah, I just feel like it's been very encouraging. People reaching out and telling you how you're helping them and like telling you don't stop. And I would say just the community, like the small town community of people knowing each other can be helpful.
Yeah. And you mentioned it, you know, the women, is that more who you're targeting when it comes to your business model? Or do you feel like you're kind of, you know, whoever comes in, comes in?
Whoever comes in for sure. But I think I attract women more just because I am a woman and I'm full of feminine energy. So naturally, when I move or create choreography, it's a little bit more feminine.
Yeah.
Can I go masculine? Absolutely. And I've actually had one-on-one sessions with men.
Okay.
And I do like switch it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I am capable of that. However, I think I do attract women more. But if a dude, I tell guys all the time, I'm like, come, we need you.
I think there needs to be this, you know, there needs to stop being the stigma of like ways to express yourself and you know, in dancing. Like, if that's something you want to try, it's something you want to try. And I don't know, we could go on this topic for, you know, hours, but I do feel like if there was an intent that you were just pushing women to your business, it would be a clear intent.
Yeah.
You know, like there'd be a clear intent. But the fact that you leave it open, I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, seeing some of the work that you've done. I don't think there's anything wrong with a man to go in there and do that. Like that's totally on you, dude. Like if that's what makes you feel better and you're able to treat men and women with respect and treat anyone with respect and feel good about yourself and not based off insecurity, dude, do whatever you got to do.
Exactly. So. And the thing is if you think about it, like when you go to concerts, right?
Yeah.
Like the most recent one I went to, I guess, was Daddy Yankee.
Okay.
The choreography for the male and the female is exactly the same. They're just putting their energy on it.
Yeah.
And so I say that at the beginning of my classes. It's like, listen, especially when there's men there.
Yeah.
But there's some women that are filled with more masculine energy, right? So I always say, listen, like this is about you. There's no right. There's no wrong. It's literally whatever makes you feel good, right? I'm going to give you a basic foundation, but I always want you to put your own sauce on it.
Yeah.
So whether that's masculine, feminine, or a little bit of both, like do whatever makes you feel good.
Well, and there's women out there that may not align well with the, you know, some of the moves that you're doing either. And for you to give them that opportunity to be like, hey, just put your energy or your own little, you know, your sauce on it. It gives them the opportunity to be in control.
Exactly.
You know, it's not you're not a dance team to where everyone's supposed to be doing this, and this.
Nope.
It's free. So I do like that in terms of expressing themselves and guiding them into more or less of what it could look like.
Yeah, exactly. Just a basic foundation and you put like what you want on it.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, touching on, in this case, like you said, the women being very supportive in the community, do you feel like that's more of like a small town type ordeal, or do you feel like we're starting to see more women supporting women around, you know, let's just say the Southwest?
Oh, yeah. I would say for sure. It's just not just Las Cruces.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because even strangers online, you know, when some of my reels go a little bit further than this community, women online that I don't even know from different parts of the country will be super encouraging and say, you know, really nice things. And so, yeah, I feel like that's definitely a trend right now for us as women, is just supporting and uplifting each other. Yeah,
no, that's huge. At the end of the day, I would hope we can get to a place and just be consistent about it where we're all supporting one another.
Yeah.
You know, like I do, you know, it's part of the game where you're going to come across people that are just questioning or maybe not wishing as well as other people, but you just kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
I tell people all the time, like, if you want to start your own business, you're going to get looked at. And if you're going to take it personal, it's just not the right business for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's really not something, because more often than not, it's not you who they are attacking. It's maybe the whole fact that that's maybe something they want to try too.
Yes, exactly. But they just don't have it in them.
And you can't take it personal.
Totally. And I would say about challenges, right? So that was a challenge for me in the very beginning. I sat on this for 10 years, like literally 10 years, because of what you just talked about.
Yeah.
Being judged or perceived a certain way that wasn't real. And and I just, one day I was like literally dying alive. And I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I need to do this already. And so I had no choice but to start. And I'm so glad that I did. And from the day that I decided, that this is what I was going to do and I was going to put myself out there in this way, I said, exactly what you just said. Like, whoever wants to be negative and say what they want to say, that's fine.
Yeah.
They're just not for me. They don't have to watch. They don't have to come to class, right? And what they perceive of me is not my reality. And yeah. And so I just had to like really buckle down. And I also had to remind myself, like, they don't understand.
Yeah.
They just don't understand. They see a 35-year-old woman like dancing on the internet sensually because I am a female and that's natural for me and I'm grown, right? And so they see that and they already have this idea and they have all these things to say. And I just had to like really believe in myself and the mission and just be like, they don't understand. And that's it. And if they want to understand, I'm here to help. And if they don't, they don't. And they can just move forward.
I think like in a perfect scenario, it goes further of like someone being like, look, I don't necessarily agree with what you're doing, but can you explain to me what your purpose is or what you're trying to accomplish? Like, I would respect that way more than someone just to be like throwing out a negative comment that really ties into nothing of like, okay, well, what do you want to know more about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I'm glad that you were able to come to that, sense, because it's over, 1,000 likes and one person to comment something negative. Those 1,000 likes don't even matter. It's overpowering in some instances, but to reassure yourself that you're doing what you're doing because it's what you love, that's all the fuel you need.
Yeah.
That's what I tell everyone that comes on here. It's like, you're on here because you have done everything to feel your need, not feel what other people need from you. And when you stop doing that, not to say you're perfect, we all have those moments, but when you stop doing that, you can tell. So use that for whatever it's worth, but it's almost like uplifting to have people come in and be like, oh, wow, really? And I'm just like, yeah, like, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about people. It's about sharing the knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So going into, let's say you're dancing, your energy, where are you at with moving things forward? When you're as an NMSU Sun dancer, at what point were you ready to be like, I'm ready to bet on myself?
Oh, a lot of years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like I said, I allowed self-doubt, worrying about what other people would think. Maybe it was fear.
Good. Maybe it was, not good, but timing.
Honestly, at one point, of course, regret pops in, right? You're like, like I should have done this. I should have done that, because my goal was I wanted to be on tour. Like I wanted to go on tour. I wanted to be like a dancer. Right. And I ended up getting married at like 23. I had 2 kids. And then I got divorced. And so after I got divorced, I was like, okay, like it's about me now. Right. And so at that point I was just like, I've already gone through all this in life. Like, are you really not about to pursue like something that's been pulling at your heart for all of these years?
Definitely.
And going back to your comment with timing, absolutely. If I had not gone through all of that I went through, I would not have the mission, like the purpose that I have today with Lo Flo.
Yeah.
Like it would just be another dance class from a professional dancer that you see on the internet, right? Which is great. That's great. But like that, as I mentioned before, Lo Flo is so much deeper than dance. It's mindset, like emotional growth, confidence. Like it's all about you, like to a soul level.
Yeah.
And so had I not gotten married young, had children, got divorced, like would I be where I am right now? Probably not.
It's all part of God's plan.
Exactly.
It's hard to grasp and understand, and being married at that young of an age, I'm sure that was a whole different challenge than maybe a lot of people can relate to that don't get married that young. But it's easy to question why, and I feel like it's normal. Like I was, growing up with such a strong faith at young, and then kind of getting away from it, when I got a little bit older and getting back into it this last year. I would say I would be harder on myself when I would question why, rather than just saying it's okay to question, but it's how you're moving about that after the question is really what's going to play the part.
Yeah, exactly.
It's grace, like you said, the timing worked out in your favor, and it's not easy when you're 23. It's not easy when you're 35. It's not easy when you're 50 and you're wanting to do something. Like, I feel like that's something all as human beings we share is starting something is so challenging because we don't want the expectation of failure.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
So, with the people that you have brought into your place, do you have like a core group of people that, you know, come to you every now and then, or, your loyal people, what are they like?
Yes, I do. So, what I love about my low flowers is what I call them.
Okay.
The age range is very vast, and I love that.
Wow.
Yeah. So one of them that comes very regularly. She's my mom's age, so
Awesome.
Yeah, Rosemary. Yeah, shout out to Rosemary. She's so cute. And her and I made a TikTok recently.
Okay.
And the conversation that we had after that was so beautiful because she was saying that never in her life did she think that she would do this. And
Dude, that's crazy.
yes, that it just gave her so much life that she really realized that she's not old. Right?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not old and I can do this. Like, I can do things. And it's crazy to see, you know, people that come regularly, how they moved when they first started working with me. And then the way that they move now, it like blows my mind. And I love to see it. And
The growth, right?
The growth is wild. And not just that, how much quicker they pick up choreography. Like, so this is another thing with me. I experienced all the benefits of dance before I understood like the practice of the science of the practice. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
Okay, so sorry, let me rephrase. So I received all the benefits of movement and dancing because I just always held on to it. So
Okay.
it was a way for me to like help my mental health, right?
Yeah.
But then come to find out there are actual like scientific facts associated, just like with lifting weights and things of that nature. There's scientific facts associated with dancing, with your body, with your hormones, with your mind and everything, right? I don't have them all lined up yet, but
That's good to know, though.
Yeah.
I would have never. Well, I guess that wouldn't be my first thought when I would think of dance.
yeah, so I felt the benefits before I knew of the practice. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so I'm excited to like go deeper into that and kind of educate people on that too. So that is one of my like next plans is to just get more educated myself so that I can educate others on how this is actually scientifically helping you as a human,
Well,
right?
we all want to know why.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, what's the return on investment?
Yeah.
I think we're always, when we're trying to pursue something, you're buying a car. Why is that number?
Exactly.
You know, and we're in an industry and we're in a time of life where there has to be an explanation. It can't just be based off of credibility anymore. Like anything can happen now.
Exactly.
So you have to have the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
to
So
push forward.
that's definitely something that I'm going to tap into, along with my marketing, you know, to help educate others on this opportunity. But anyway, yeah, so that's like a lot of what she felt. And, what I was saying, is the way, how much quicker she picks up choreography now from when she first started. And that's what got me into like the scientific facts. Cause I'm like, there has to be some type of scientific fact of learning choreography and how it like improves your brain. But, anyway, so that's Rosemary. And then Athena, she just shouted me out actually on one of her pages because she's on, you know, like self-improvement journey herself.
Okay.
And come to find out, Lo Flo is part of her team, her like wellness
wow.
team, right?
Yeah.
So she has her therapist, her family, her support system, and then Lo Flo. And so, yeah, she definitely talks about how it's helped her connect with herself and feel more alive, more confident, and just connecting with, it's on that soul level, like with yourself. So.
Yeah. Well, that's really great to hear. I'm glad that they were able to, you reach a complete, like, wide range of people.
Oh, and she's younger. She's like 20, like younger than me.
Yeah. And it's serving the same purpose almost, you know,
Yeah.
and like there's so many opportunities for people to like engage and be able to, if they do decide to go in a community and, you know, talk to each other, you know, give each other life lessons. Like you mentioned, it's part of one person circle. You could be part of many people's circle in the sense you are, you know, because you got to set aside time for it. It's not like oh, well, I have to brush my teeth. No, you want to do it. You're going to set aside time. So, man, that's such a cool thing to see. Cause I feel like the people I mostly work with, you know, are well within an age range of like, I think the oldest person I've had on was maybe like 45, 50, but that was once. So I think it's cool to have that depth and be able to interact with different people. It helps you as a business owner and just have depth to your life and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Because, those conversations after our classes are like a form of release and are slightly therapeutic, right?
Yeah.
So I love having all different age ranges of women and different, walks of life of women in there, because then they are able to give that wisdom back too.
We all need help.
So,
we all need help. And I will say sometimes it is an experience thing to where you do look up to, someone a little bit older with more experience. But I think all in all, there's a lot of things out here that are so new to everyone that we could all use each other to help out.
Absolutely. And I've noticed that with Lo Flo too, because the way the older women look at me and is different from the way that I look at them. So I give them something they need and they give me something that I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say in the community that you're, obviously bringing people in, is it more of like a niche industry that you're doing, or are there other people like you that are doing similar things?
I would say it's niche for sure, because it's really dance without expectation. A lot of dance that you see in Las Cruces and El Paso is like for training purposes.
Okay.
To what you're trying to actually increase like your dance ability.
Okay.
Which some of that is true for me, but more than that, it's not. We don't push that hard with the actual dance movement. It's more about how do I explain? It's more about dance, but how it affects you like on a human level.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
I do. It's not like I've never seen like a person that, has brought together people to dance, but the way you go about it, I feel like is totally different from somebody that, or pages that I've seen that is strictly just in there to accomplish one goal, which either is a competition or, maybe just learning a certain skill.
Yes.
So that's really cool. And I think you brought a little twist to it. You added your own little twist. And I definitely think that there's some areas for success that you can have over competitors in this instance of people that just want to go and do something to acquire some type of result.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say that's why I'm a little bit different. It's just more than dance. Yeah. And
then you mentioned you're going off into other things too, how trying to apply it with the mind, and you maybe apply some of that knowledge after you're done with the dance. Now, do you always, after your session, recap with your people and talk to them after, or do you just kind of let them go and be free?
So it just kind of depends. I will say we like never want to stop dancing.
That must be like the most awkward thing. Like, how do you stop dancing?
It is. Like half the time I'm always going over time because I'm like, I don't want to stop. And like everyone's like, I don't want to stop.
That's like at a club when they turn off the music at 2 a.m. and you're just like,
okay.
The lights go on and you're just like, okay. And everyone just walks out. That would be so awkward to know what to do after that.
Yeah, exactly. So we do. I mean, there's been some classes where like we had a little bit of extra time. And so we would do a meditation. And then there was one time where we stayed like 30 minutes after class, literally just all of us just talking to each other.
That's
yes.
So cool.
And we were just all talking to each other. And it was one of those classes where there was many different age groups.
Yeah.
And we were just, it's therapeutic at the end of the day. So at the end of the class, like you're just wide open, like ready to release, right? So I do definitely, like when everybody's checking out, I do always talk to people and I'll linger with whoever wants to linger. But if I had a little bit more time, I would love to do, what we did that one day where we just like sat around and had a little therapy session with each other.
Yeah, no, that's gotta be like a cool thing as like a business owner, like someone that manages their own work, to watch and sit back and be like,
yes,
wow,
it was.
I turned this vision into this.
Exactly.
So that's like goosebumps. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I do almost always meditate after class, even if it's just like a 5-minute meditation on like self-love or manifestation or letting go or whatever. If it's like a new moon or a full moon, I'll incorporate something with that. But I do almost always end my classes with that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's part of your process.
Yes.
I feel like, so I feel like everyone goes about their process differently, but sticking to it and doing it, in a way that it's going to be fulfilling for you is so huge. Prayer is such a huge deal when it comes to myself in certain things that I'm looking for. Like I've noticed that I've gotten a little bit better in certain industries or in certain areas that I've been looking for industry work on, possibly reaching out or feeling the need to journal a little bit better. So it's huge. And that's really cool that you're doing that. So tell me about some of the different caps you wear. You know, you mentioned you're a mom of two.
Yes.
Although, you know, your business is another baby for you.
Yes.
What does your everyday life look like?
So I do co-parent, but there's only 2 days out of the week that I don't have my kids.
Okay.
So those 2 days are jam packed because I'm also a real estate professional. So, yes, I just do as much as I can. And really I just wake up and I don't really have a morning routine. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's different every day.
It's different every day.
You're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
That's not bad. I mean, you're flexible.
Yeah, you know? I'm super flexible. This is true. But I do know certain things about myself. So if I'm going to lift that day, I go early. Okay. Because if I don't, I won't.
Okay.
So I go early to lift. And then with real estate, it's unpredictable. You don't know when you're going to have meetings. So sometimes I have meetings in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon. But I'm teaching Lo Flo. I have 3 different classes and I'm teaching 4 days a week. So Monday, I just work all day. I create content every day, whether I post it that day or not. Yeah. But at least there's something ready for me. So that usually happens in the morning. And then I'll do like contract work, real estate work stuff in like the middle of the day. And then in the evenings is when I mostly do my movement stuff. So Monday nights I have step cardio, which is so fun. And that's the other thing too, is there's dance in everything I do. So it might not be strictly focused on dance, but you're gonna dance, whether it's choreography or freestyle. So yeah, that's on Monday. Then Tuesday, again, same thing. Just I teach in the morning on Tuesday. So I do a little workout class. Yeah. So it's like slow, low impact movement with 3 segments of dancing. So we do resistance training, dance, resistance training, dance, resistance training. And we use the ball of weights. The ball of weights are they're just normal weights, but they're just aesthetically pleasing. And it like makes you want to do more. That's weird, right?
No, if it's more appealing, yeah.
Yes. So, and they're low weight, high repetition, low impact, slow and controlled movement. So we do that, dance. And then, so that's Tuesday, Thursday morning. And then Wednesday night, I have my free flow class. So that one, I never know what I'm going to do. I just know what vibe I'm bringing. Yeah. So we just get in there. I see who's in the room. And I just go off the energy really. And we just kind of freestyle a little bit. And then we just start throwing movement together and we create a little combo together. So I love not knowing what we're going to do and kind of just letting it flow, because if there's someone in there who's like, I want to try this, then I can throw it in there. Right. Yeah. So it's like about them, like what they want. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, so are we like getting wavy or are we like humping the floor? Like, what are we doing today?
No, and you leave it up to them.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I feel like they're the ones coming into the room of like, shit, what are we expecting today? And for them to have the say so, I would feel a little bit more comfortable too. Yeah. Like, okay, this is what we're doing. Cool. Yeah. Ooh, we're not humping the floor today. Or we're humping the floor today. So it's definitely, sometimes that's just what you want to do. Exactly. Hey, by all means, Monday, Tuesday night, that's what you guys want. But if it's not, then shoot, at least I have a say so.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's what's cool. No, that was random out of nowhere. But hey, that's what you do. That's what you do. Yes. But that's cool. So explain to me what are the challenges of that? You know, because I'm assuming your
of my everyday life. Oh yes.
I'm assuming they have to come first.
Oh my God. Yes. So honestly, the biggest challenge is feeling like I'm not producing enough. That's the biggest challenge. It's like, because when I pick them up, it's all about them. You know, when I pick them up from school, my daughter's on a competitive soccer team. I'm like a full-blown soccer mom now. Like, you know.
Competitive soccer is like lethal when getting to that point.
Yes. And so, when I pick them up, like it's over, right? Like the day's over. And so that's just the thing. It's like I could be selling way more houses. Yeah. I could be marketing way more. I could be making way better reels. I could be like, that's the challenge in my mind. But But the truth is like, I'm literally doing the best I can.
Yeah. Grace. For sure. And, you know, I feel like I can't even imagine because I'm not a parent. But you can always start it earlier. You know, you could always start your day earlier, but understanding that you're doing more for those kids than possibly if you put things ahead of them.
Yeah.
And just giving them the opportunity to see that, hey, my mom's working hard and I want to be able to do that, whatever it is, but be able to work hard at something, have a passion for something down the road.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, another $1 million is just like thrown to you. Mm-hmm. I worked with kids for about 3 or 4 years, and I've noticed such a difference in my work of being selfless towards it. You know, like if I can help someone else, if I can do a service for someone, that's way more important to me than making X amount of dollars right now, you know, because you feel better about it.
Yeah.
You get that sense of achievement, but it's not going to take away from the human aspect of, I could have definitely recorded one more thing. Or like, it's dinner time. Like I could have probably made my own dinner and like been doing way more work or selling another house.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And I think another challenge too, and I want to tell this to any parent who's already a parent or whoever's going to be a parent, you can integrate your children into your career, right? So for whatever reason, it's taken me a second to do that. But yeah, like my Thursday morning classes, the girls wake up at 5:00 in the morning and get there with me. They've never given me any issue and they love it, you know? So they've gone to countless houses with me to drop off, to put in the sign or to do, they've gone to inspections, like things like that. And just remembering that like they can come too. I mean, obviously some situations they can't, but not everything has to be so separate. Right. Yeah. And so, it's taken me a while to do that, but when you're an entrepreneur, you have that flexibility.
Yeah.
And so utilize it. Don't forget that. Mm-hmm. And they
balance.
they learn so many lessons too. It's kind of crazy to hear them talk. Like,
yeah, they're so smart.
Like, oh, mommy, you got that under contract? I'm like, yeah, I got it.
I would die laughing.
When's it closing?
That's like, crazy.
You know,
they're all selling the house to the people and they're walking them, showing them the tour.
And the last Lo Flo and Learn. Oh, because that's like another pop-up that I do where I teach trending social media dances.
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody to watch them. So they just came with me. So I had to get like the edited version of the song, like all that, right? So I had to like make some modifications. But they ended up learning it with us.
Well, it's cool that you're being mindful of stuff like that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's people out there that incorporate them in business, but they tune out the fact of kids. Mm-hmm. It's like, you also got to be respectful towards, you know, what they're learning. Cause like you said, they're going to learn everything that you're bringing around them.
Yeah.
So, I do respect that from you to be able to do stuff like that. But yeah, kids are so smart. It's crazy. Like my nephew surprises me every day. So it's crazy. But yeah, looking at time, one last question I wanted to ask you, you know, what are you, you know, give yourself some grace. What are you happy about? What are some successes you've had in the last year that have really showed yourself that this is something that you're going to commit to and keep doing?
I think number one, the fact that I even started. Yeah. Right. Like I talked myself out of it for so long. I could have continued doing that and Absolutely. I didn't. So definitely the fact that I just started, I feel like I can't stop. Yeah. Right. Also just the feedback from women that come and, regularly or even not, just how much they've expressed to me, how much it's impacted their life in a positive way. And I would say just that it's like, it's so purposeful and so many people don't even know yet. So like, how can I stop? Like
you got a taste of it.
Yeah.
You got a small taste of what it could be. And I feel like that's what drives you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Just the people that I get to connect with every single time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, you know, for coming on and talking to us. And I do think it's worthwhile to learn a little bit more about what you're doing and all the services you have to offer. Like, you know, I think everything that you're doing is for a purpose. And I think BHD, you know, made the right decision with bringing you on and getting to hear a little bit more about your story.
Thank you.
No, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.